Free product and other incentives provided by Disney. Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo. You might remember me from last year's Force Friday event where I unboxed the new Millennium Falcon from The Force Awakens. This year, Disney sent me a whole bunch of new Rogue One toys to unbox, but instead of me unboxing them, I thought I'd invite a few friends over to unbox them for me. For you.
Hi, my name is Jake Stevens and I run the website from ForlonDezuckis.com. It's all about Star Wars action figures.
Hey guys, I'm John, your host of the Super Awesome Geek Show podcast. I love talking Star Wars and it almost comes up every time on our podcast.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bizey. I'm a co-host on Galaxy of Toys podcast, as well as the Collecting Cosmos podcast, also on the Galaxy of Toys network.
My name is Christopher Pearson, and I run the Star Geek YouTube channel, all about Star Wars topics from anything that I'm really interested in the universe pertaining to Star Wars.
My very first Star Wars action figure toy was actually a Darth Vader that I had received. Now, I was pretty young at the time, but God bless my mom for putting all the weapons away. Even though I was a little young for them, she stored them away in a little case, and when I was a bit older, she brought them all back. So even to this day, I have all my childhood action figures from Kenner.
I do believe the first toy I received was a Han Solo. I have a picture of myself with my grandparents and my little brother, and I'm so excited. I'm like, oh, I got this great figure! And it's just, I still have that picture to this day, and I know that year, one member of every person in the family got me a figure, so I had all 12 by the end of 1978.
My first Star Wars toy was probably my Darth Vader case with about my first 5 or 6 figures. I remember it well because it was given to me, I want to say it was about my 5th birthday, and it's really special because it was actually my brother's before it was mine. My brother unfortunately passed away when I was 2 years old, and my parents originally gave it to him. But they held on to it, and after several moves, I was in the military, or my dad was in the military, and they held on to it and gave it to me on my 5th birthday. And so I got the Darth Vader case with Luke, Leia, Chewbacca, Han, Darth Vader, and a Stormtrooper all at one shot, and it's still special. I still have those today because they were my brother's as well as mine.
My first Star Wars toy was actually a really, really loose vintage C-3PO action figure because my dad won it in a bet against a coworker who collected all the Star Wars toys. So I got a really loose C-3PO and Chewbacca vintage figure for my very first figures. It was really cool.
The reason I still love Star Wars toys is they're Star Wars. I've never stopped loving Star Wars toys. I've collected them, like I said, as many as I could as a kid, and then when Hasbro began again in '95, I was all in. So every release Hasbro's ever had in Star Wars action figures for the last 21 years, I've kept up with, and it's just been something that's been with me my whole life.
I still love Star Wars and Star Wars toys because it just brings me back to that moment when I was in my childhood where everything seemed to be like just worry-free. And whenever I see a Star Wars figure or I see the film again, I think it just brings me back to that moment of being a child.
The biggest reason I still love Star Wars toys is because they take me back to my childhood. You know, when I got those card backs as a kid, it said collect all 77 or collect all 92 or each one, and I wanted to collect all of them. I blacked out in the back of the card backs which ones I already had, so I knew which ones I still needed. And as an adult, I kind of continued that and still feel that I need to buy every figure since '95, as I have continued to buy every Star Wars figure that's come out. It's just one of those things I love. It kind of takes me back to my childhood. The quality that we get on the figures is so much better than what we had as kids. You can set up in dioramas and do great displays with the over 3,000 figures that are out now.
I've always loved the films, and I think that just kind of carried over into the toys, and it's basically just been going on ever since I was around 5 when I first saw the movies, and I've just been collecting ever since.
Well, there's a lot of Rogue One toys that are coming out, but I have to say that my favorite one so far is without a doubt the Hasbro at-atc. It's quite amazing. The walking feature is really impressive. I can't believe it bends at the joints. It's got the Nerf feature to it, which is also hidden for collectors. I have a 6-year-old, and the 6-year-old is going to have a heyday. So much fun walking this thing around, playing with the different electronic features, controlling it through a smartphone. It is absolutely going to be one of the first toys I pick up on Rogue Friday, for sure.
Today was a fantastic day getting to see all these Rogue One toys ahead of time. If I had to pick one, I'm gonna pick Jyn Erso. That's my favorite figure so far. This one that comes in blister pack on her own, single carded figure. She has so many details, so many layers, so many little gadgets and gadgets around her. Her gun goes in the holster. I just love that about it. When action figures have weapons that can go on them in holsters or wherever, it's a total plus.
I've got to say, there's been some awesome Rogue One toys to look at, and I think my favorite Rogue One toy that I've seen today was the Black Series Death Trooper right here. It's got all the features that we've had on the Black Series for the last few years, but it's got a lot of extra features. It's almost a combination of a Stormtrooper and a Sand Trooper, plus a little TIE pilot, I guess. The helmet's really cool, and as a Darth Vader fan, he's got Darth Vader's belt buckle on, so I think that's pretty cool.
So my favorite Rogue One toy so far is actually the K2SO Black Series 6-inch figure, just because of how perfect the sculpt is and how posable he is. The details down to like the little scuff marks all over him look really incredible, and I've been a droid collector ever since I first got my C-3PO figure when I was little, so I'm really excited to collect a really awesome looking droid from the new movie.
This is my daughter Jedi, and our favorite Rogue One toys are all of them. At some point in the future, we will be putting together these Lego sets too, and we'll show you those as well. May the Force be with you. Visit StarWars.com/GoRogue to enter the Go Rogue contest and tell your own Rogue story.